Wish you all a very good day. So, the next topic that we are going to study today is surface chemistry. The word itself is self understood that all the chemical activities that are taking place on the surface of any substance or material will be considered under the topic of surface chemistry. In this, we'll be studying about the term adsorption and all the other different terms like adsorbate, absorbent, desorption, sorption, and absorption. Point to be noted here is we have already studied and know about the process of absorption, like the absorbing uh, water absorption by the plants, the cloths becoming damp when placed in water. These are all process of absorption, that is the accumulation of molecules in the bulk of the solid or liquid is absorption. But the accumulation of molecular species at the surface rather than in the bulk of the liquid or solid is called adsorption. Some examples of these processes is accumulation of dust on the surface of uh, furnitures, floor, etc. The absorption of color of chalks, the accumulation of oil on water. All these examples are of adsorption. Alright. Next we have the compositions and the composites of the process of adsorption. So, the molecular species which are getting concentrated or accumulated on the surface are called as adsorbate, and the material on the surface of which the absorption takes place, it is called adsorbent. For example, if we consider the process of accumulation of dust on the floor, then in that case my adsorbate will be the dust particles, whereas the absorbent will be the floor. Similarly, in case of the accumulation of oil on water will be considered as an example, where the oil which is getting settled on the surface of water is called adsorbate, and the water where here will be absorbent. Here we'll be seeing some good examples of adsorbents: charcoal, silica gel, alumina gel, clay, colloids, and metals in finely divided state. Silica gel, we must have seen the packets of silica gel which is provided in new shoes or leather bags. The function of this silica gel is to absorb all the moisture present in the packaging. Similarly, the alumina gel also functions as the same. And metals in finely divided state, we have studied in previous classes of organic chemistry that for the process of hydrogenation, that is addition of hydrogen to the unsaturated molecules, the process is catalyzed in presence of finely divided metals like nickel, palladium, platinum, etc. So, the function of these metals and the charcoal and silica gel is to adsorb all the substances present on the surface of it. Now, the new term we are going to study about is desorption. Since we know that the adsorption is a process taking place on the surface, therefore it is a reversible process, that we can remove the substances getting adsorbed. And this process of removal of adsorbed substances from the surface is called desorption. Alright. Next, there are certain cases where the process of adsorption and absorption takes place simultaneously, and in that case the term sorption will be used. Some highly relevant examples are given in the NCERT Unit 5 Surface Chemistry, where a mixture of gases containing oxygen, hydrogen, carbon monoxide, chlorine, ammonia, and sulfur dioxide are taken in a closed vessel containing powdered charcoal. It is observed that the pressure of the gas in the enclosed vessel decreases, and this is due to the fact that these gases get adsorbed on the surface of the powdered charcoal. Next we have the example of decoloration of the solution containing any dye. Here for example say methylene blue and animal charcoal. After some time it is observed that the color of the filtrate is fading and after some time it becomes colorless. And this also can be explained by the fact that the animal charcoal absorbs the color of the dye, that is methylene blue. Another example is the clearing of the solution of raw sugar. In the process of production of sugar, the raw sugar which contains a lot of impurities, it is observed that they are slightly yellow or not clearly white. So this is passed over beds of animal charcoal, after which it becomes colorless as the coloring substances are adsorbed by the animal charcoal. Next and the last point here is the air becoming dry in presence of silica gel, as already discussed in the point where the good absorbents, where the silica gel which are provided in the packaging of leather shoes and bags, they adsorb the moisture around it and protects the fungal development of the leather shoes and prevents its degradation. Next is the mechanism of adsorption. So the reason for the adsorption to take place on any surface is that the particles on the surface of adsorbent are not in the same environment as the particle inside the bulk. So if we consider the adsorbent as water, then in an open vessel, then the water molecules on the surface will be experiencing the attractive forces because of the only the water molecules present below it, while the water molecules in the bulk will be experiencing force along all its sides due to different water molecules. And this leads to the unbalanced or residual attractive forces on the molecules present on the surface as they are in the different environments, where below the surface the water molecules that are present in bulk and above the surface the air, that is mixture of gases, and these unequal forces leads to the process of adsorption to be facilitated. The point to be noted here is that the extent of adsorption increases with increase in surface area at any given temperature and pressure. This will be studied in detail in the further topics, but for the time being it can be easily related to the fact that increasing the surface area increases the dissolution process. Alright. The other mechanism is a thermodynamic aspect of the process of adsorption. So during adsorption, it is observed that there is decrease in the residual forces on the particles on the surface, as the forces that are acting on the adsorbent on the surface will experience a lesser force due to the fact that adsorbate is getting adsorbed or accumulated on the surface, and this leads to the decrease in surface energy which will be emitted in the form of heat, and therefore the process of adsorption is considered as an exothermic process having the value of delta H as negative. Now, the second aspect is the entropy. So, if we consider the example of gases getting adsorbed on any solid or liquid surface, then the freedom of movement of these gaseous particles will be restricted if they get adsorbed on the surface, and this leads to a decrease in entropy or disorderedness, and therefore the value of delta S will also be negative. So it can be concluded that the process of adsorption leads to a decrease in enthalpy and decrease in entropy. Now, the process of adsorption is also an spontaneous process at any constant temperature and pressure. So, the condition of spontaneity is that the value of Gibbs-free energy, change in Gibbs-free energy, must be negative, that is delta G is negative. And we know the expression of the Gibbs equation, that is delta G is equals to delta H minus T delta S. Thus, for delta G to be negative, delta H must be sufficiently having a high negative value than the T delta S term, as it would become negative at any given temperature. So, it is concluded that in an adsorption process, which is a spontaneous process, a combination of the factors of enthalpy and entropy will give us the value of delta G to be negative, and as the adsorption proceeds, delta H will become less and less negative. Ultimately, it will be equal to the T delta S term, and at this point the delta G will become to 0, and the solution and the process of adsorption will obtain a state of equilibrium. So this was the thermodynamic aspect of the process of adsorption, where we studied that adsorption is an spontaneous process and the value of delta G is negative. The adsorption is taking place, leading to a decrease in surface energy, and therefore delta H is also negative. Restriction of the adsorbate due to adsorption leads to its decrease in entropy, and therefore delta S is also negative. So I hope you all get the different mechanisms of the process of adsorption. So now we'll study about the different types of adsorption. First one is physisorption or physical adsorption. It is defined as if the accumulation of gases on the surface of solid occurs on account of weak van der Waals forces, then the absorption is termed as physical adsorption or physisorption. So in general terms, it is defined as the accumulation of the adsorbate on the absorbent is due to the weak forces like van der Waals forces, then the adsorption will be considered as physical adsorption or physisorption. So there are very characteristic properties of this process of physisorption. First one is lack of specificity. This is due to the universal nature of van der Waals forces, and it confirms that any adsorbent will not have any preference to the type of adsorbate which is getting adsorbed on its surface. The second property is nature of adsorbate. This is explained by the fact that amount of getting adsorbed on the surface of the adsorbent, it will depend on the nature of the adsorbate. For example, easily liquefiable gases, that is gases having higher critical temperature, are readily adsorbed as the van der Waals forces are stronger near the critical temperatures. For example, if we take the extent of adsorption of sulfur dioxide, methane and dihydrogen, that is H2, So it is observed that SO2 will be adsorbed at a greater extent than methane than 4.5 ml of dihydrogen, because the critical temperature of sulfur dioxide is 630 Kelvin. For methane it is 190 Kelvin, and for dihydrogen it is 33 Kelvin. So the most liquefiable gas over here would be sulfur dioxide, whereas hydrogen would be considered as a least liquefiable gas, as it has the least value of critical temperature. Now, the other property of physiosorption is reversible nature of the physical adsorption. So the physical adsorption of a gas on a solid is generally reversible. Now, since the process of adsorption is exothermic, as we have discussed in the mechanism of adsorption, the physical adsorption will occur readily at lower temperatures and will decrease with increase in temperature. This can be better explained by the Le Chatelier's principle, but for the time being it's necessary that the process of physical adsorption is a reversible process. Next is surface area of adsorbent. As discussed previously, the extent of adsorption will increase with increase in the surface area of the adsorbent, as more and more particles can be adsorbed if the surface area of the adsorbent is increased. Now coming to the last property, that is enthalpy of adsorption. Due to the involvement of weak van der Waals forces in the process of physical adsorption, the enthalpy of adsorption is quite low, ranging with a value of 20 to 40 kilojoules per mole. To summarize this process of physisorption, it is said the process of adsorption occurring due to the involvement of weak van der Waals forces is termed as physical adsorption or physisorption. The various properties or characteristics of physisorption is lack of specificity, nature of adsorbate, reversible nature, the surface area of adsorbent, and the enthalpy of adsorption. Now coming to the next type of adsorption, that is chemisorption or chemical adsorption. So it is inverse or the inverse of the process of adsorption, where chemical bonds will form in between the adsorbate and the absorbent, and the process is defined, and the type of adsorption is called as chemical adsorption or chemisorption. As written over here, when the gases, molecules or the atoms are held to the solid surface by chemical bonds, the adsorption is termed as chemical adsorption or chemisorption. For example, now the characteristics of chemisorption is high specificity. In case of physical sorption, we have studied that the absorbent has no preference towards the adsorbate getting absorbed, but the process of chemisorption is highly specific and it will occur only if there is a possibility of chemical bonding between the adsorbate and absorbent. The next property is irreversibility. Physical process was a reversible process, but the chemisorption, since it involves the formation of bonds, and therefore it is irreversible in nature. The next property is surface area. Unlike physisorption, chemisorption is also depending on the extent of adsorption with increase in the surface area of adsorbent. That is, if we increase the surface area of adsorbent, more number of adsorbate molecules will form bonds with the adsorbent, and therefore the extent of adsorption also increases. Converse to the process of physisorption, the enthalpy of chemisorption is quite high when compared to the physisorption, that is ranging from 80 to 240 kilojoules per mole, as it involves chemical bond formation. So if you are given to write the differences between the process of physical adsorption and chemical adsorption, you can always write, first writing the definitions and then relating the differences in the characteristics of the two different processes. Now, the point to be noted here is chemisorption is also an exothermic process like the process of physisorption, but this process is very slow at low temperatures on account of the high energy of activation that is needed to form the chemical bonds between the adsorbate and absorbent. Next is the adsorption often increases with rise in temperature, as explained in the point where the process of adsorption is an exothermic process. So, physisorption of a gas adsorbed at low temperature may change into chemisorption if the temperature is increased. And the last point is, usually at high pressures, the process of chemisorption is favorable over the physisorption.